Good morning to each and every one of you who are watching me from every part of the world. You're watching me. Let me say thanks to each and every one of you. For some of you who have been following or watching our program, thanks so much. God Almighty will bless you. I just need to make some requests from you. Please, I beg in the name of God, I want you to help us to subscribe to our YouTube channel and to help us press those notifications and help us to like it and share it. Information is very, very vital. What I'm about to say today is a very vital information, and I will ask you not to penalize me for that because it goes to do with other language, in fact with my own language, which including you too, because the world has been increased, and we Africa, we are intent to forget our nationalities due to all this white man syndrome by speaking their language. It's really good to be educated, don't get me wrong. It's good to speak an English, but can you be proud to say that your son can speak your language? When last did you speak your own dialect, your own mother's dialect language to your own children? And when they're speaking in the house, how do you react to them? English. I remember those days, I don't speak vernacular in the class. You speak a vernacular, teacher will come and hit you, you stand up. Gradually, we tend to forget our culture. And those people that we are copying their culture, they never, ever forgotten their own culture. If you have gone to Germany, you will realize that 89% of German make sure their indigenous speak the language. Japanese, Indian, Chinese, up to date. That's why we're talking of 21st century. They don't play with their language. They speak their own dialect. You that is watching me, how fluently can you speak your own dialect? I wasn't born in Africa. I was born in Europe. And so what? Those people, they have their children in Africa. Still, they groom them to speak their own language. I went to my friend's place, and to my surprise, my son called me from Nigeria. And when we are chatting, the boy comes to me and asks me, what language is that am I speaking? I said, that's my language, that's Yoruba language. He said, wow. Can you speak to the boy? And I said, look at him, he's in the video call. He said, how can he greet the boy? I said, okay, tell him, báwo ni o, ṣàlàáfíà ló wà. And I was surprised the way the boy picked up that language immediately. And he said, báwo ni o, ṣàlàáfíà ló wà. And after a while, this boy come inside, he met me and his father where we sit down, we are chatting. And this boy was speaking Chinese to his father. And he was so proud that, can you see my son is speaking Chinese? This boy, he catch up quickly. I said, yes, because the boy is going to Chinese school. That's why he spends so much money on that boy. Let me tell you what that boy told his father. He asked him, he said, Daddy, do you know what I'm saying to you? Daddy said, I don't know what you are saying, but I know you are speaking Chinese. He said, Daddy, I'm insulting you. His father said, what do you mean? I said, I'm insulting you. I'm speaking Chinese. Am I a Chinese man? I'm in Nigeria. And you force me to speak Chinese and English. When will you teach me your own language? I spoke to your friend's son now in Nigeria, and I see the way they communicate. I was so shocked. In my entire life, I never seen something like that. I was shocked. Even the father was looking at me. He said, both of you are mom. You're standing here speaking English. You never take me to your home. You always say bad thing about your country. But like 3-4 times here, they're attacking us. We narrowly escaped death. It is by God. When will you begin to prophesy good things to your own language? When will you begin to appreciate your own mother tongues, to speak your own language? That when you see your brother, or tomorrow, when this happens, that language can be of your rescue. That very day, I learned from that boy, and the boy is 12 years old. Because the boy, I can see he wasn't happy. Say, when will I speak your language? When will your people, your family come here, or assuming I go with you now to your country? What will I say to them? Then I should be asking. Or they are insulting me. I'll be looking left and right. I'm not a Chinese man, but I can speak the language. Even if I go there tomorrow, that is not my mother's language. I'm saying this to you today, in respect of any part of the world you are listening to me. I think it's the high time we're starting to teach our own children our own language. Let them know the value of speaking that language, what that culture stands for. That's why today you see many of the children, when they have problems outside, when they come into their father's land, nobody appreciates them, nobody recognizes them. Some of the artists in abroad now, they've been going to Africa to trace their history. If you look at Samuel L. Jackson, he was able to trace his own history to Gabon, and he discovered that that is where he comes from. Are you able to trace your own history? Are you able to trace where your family comes from? Is it because you are now in abroad, you are living fine? It's only when the problem come up in that abroad, you begin to realize that you belong to somewhere. When the black begin to be killed in America, some of them begin to realize that this place is not their place. Then they're coming out, Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter. Yes, we accept. No life is worthy of being taken. But some of them now begin to realize that no matter how you call it, Africa is an Africa. In those days they called them Negro. Now they change it, they're calling them Black Africa, Black American. In some part of the place they call them colored, brown. Let me tell you, in respect of satisfaction you are getting from the foreign land, it doesn't belong there. You may have their citizens, yes. You have their paper, everything. You marry their daughter, or you've been there for years. You have a root. You have the source. There's somewhere you come from. Don't forget your source. Let your children know the value in your culture. This is how we do in my place. This is how we greet. If you look at my cap, some of you will know who this cap stands for. I'm a Yoruba man, and I'm proud to be. Are you proud to be of your own tribe? You try to be like a white man. Even some of you will say, even look at his English is not good. Thank you, Professor. With all the books the white men read, with all the books that they wrote, did they wrote it in your language? The physics, the chemistry, the biology, did they translate it in your own language? Do you even know the meaning of some of the words they write inside? Some of them, when you call it, your tongue will be twisted. But you choose to speak their language. That is why it's easy for them to penetrate, to come and take most of our culture and take to their place, to develop their place. Why they left our own place in chaos. They cause a problem between two of us. They use language to separate us. You don't need to speak English. Just speak our own language. We teach you. We give you degree. You attend all the best universities. But most of you cannot do any good thing into your place. Your culture that you did not value, white men are taking it away from you to go and establish it in their own place, and they call it a tourist. And some of you steal the money from Africa, travel there to go and see it. Halloween today, most of the culture they are doing in Europe is from Africa. It's from certain tribes that owns those things. They take it away from them in the name of education, technologies. I don't know the problem you are going through, but I know many families have been in a problem due to the language. When I was working in airport, a child was deported because of his attitude, because of what he said. At the airport, he was deported. They said, no, this one cannot enter this country. If you are saying this, you must go back. And I have a brother who have a problem in UK. When police is there, he begin to speak to his son, what he will do. Why those police are standing there asking the man, your paper, But he was telling the boy what the boy would do immediately. And because the boy was able to hear his father's language, he was able to call other response team and was able to save his father. I'm saying this to you today. Language. Don't play with your mother's tongue. Don't joke with it. I was attacked, and the guy asked my name, and I mentioned my name, and he said, "You're from Nigeria?" I said, "Yes." Several of Yoruba, I said, "Yes." From which place? He was asking me. I said, "That's what you're asking me." He said, "Because you two is in Nigeria." And when he hears me speak that language, he knows that this is my brother. And he told me that God saved you because he will kill you. I said, "Thank you." I won't tell you what they do when I met them, but simply because I said, "Oh, Ọlọ́run gbà mí o, God saved me in this problem." And he looked at me and said, "Oh, say that thing again." And I said it again. Appreciate your language. God Almighty be with you. Thank you. Help us to subscribe to the channel again. Help us like it and help us share it. Information in life is very, very vital. May God Almighty be with you. For my next episode, I would like to hear from you too. Thanks so much. Let me punch you.